The message to be transmitted is encoded by this machine. The sender and receiver have the same equipment, of course. Here, beneath the keyboard, are 3 rotors. Now, the letters of the alphabet circle each rotor. If you press one of the keys, K, for example, you'll see that the plain text K is encoded into H. The first rotor then moves on. Pressing K again produces the letter F, and so on and so on. When the rotor's made a complete revolution, the second does the same, and then the third. It's a polyalphabetical machine with 26 times 26 times 26 possible settings.
17,576.
Yes.
Well, it's not a tremendously large number.
No, that's true. A manual analysis would eventually lead to the correct setting, given a little patience. But it could take several days, and the setting is changed each day.
Well, how do they know which setting to use?
They use a code book, which, alas, we don't have. But at least we know how the machine works, and we've been able to modify one of our own machines to simulate the enigma's function.
Ah.
The trouble is, the Germans have just made the enigma much more elaborate, which means that our machine is virtually obsolete. Their operators are now equipped with a stock of 5 rotors, from which any 3 can be used in any order when they set up the enigma.
So it's 60 possible combinations, 17,576 times 60.
1,054,560. They've also added a plug board to the apparatus, like a telephone switchboard. They just attach pairs of letters to jack plugs, and this swaps the letters before they're fed into the rotors and after. So there are literally thousands of millions of possible permutations.
Yeah, well, it's quite a problem.
Look, let me try and explain something. In order to unravel the messages encoded by the Enigma machine, we had to make certain deductions. We had to deduce the position of the machine's rotors for each transmission. Now, in other words, we had to construct a chain of logical deductions for each of the rotor positions. Now, if this chain of deductions led you to a contradiction, that meant you were wrong. And you had to move on to the next rotor position and start all over again, and so on, and so on. And it was an impossibly lengthy and laborious task, and we didn't know what to do. And then suddenly, one spring afternoon, just after lunch, I remembered a conversation that I'd had with Wittgenstein. We were discussing an elementary theorem in mathematical logic which states that a contradiction implies any proposition. And I saw immediately, if we could build a machine that embodied this idea, we would have a code-breaking machine with the necessary speed. Now, it would have to be a machine of electrical relays and logical circuits which could sense contradictions, recognize consistencies. If your guess was wrong, electricity would flow through all the related hypotheses and knock them out in a flash. If your guess was right, everything would be consistent. And the electrical current would stop at the correct combination. Our machine will be able to examine thousands of millions of permutations at amazing speed. And with any luck, it would give us the way in. What a moment that was. It was extraordinary, quite extraordinary. So you see, it took more than mathematics and electronic ingenuity to crack the U-boat enigma. It required determination, tenacity, moral fibre, if you like. That's what made it all so deeply satisfying. I mean, everything came together there, all the strands of my life. My work as a mathematician, my interest in ciphers, my ability to solve practical problems. My love of my country.